big ego energy. It's very controlling. It's always feeling, attacked, defensiveness, and aggression, basically. I associated my defensiveness with, me taking up for myself. Even as a kid, I did that. I validated those thoughts and those feelings that my defensiveness was just me standing up for myself and not letting people play with me. But really, I was playing with myself by acting like that and being that type of person. Hey everyone, it's your girl Rosie. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. Before we get into this topic, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you could be notified when I upload. So make sure you grab yourself a glass, whatever it is that you're sipping on. I have my little chocolate almond milk. I played myself with this almond milk because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be healthy in my healthy girl era, and I wound up getting the chocolate almond milk unsweetened because I was like, too much sugar, but I shouldn't have did that because so I had to spruce it up a little bit. Yes, I did add a little sugar in there, I'm not gonna lie, because I just couldn't take it. So yeah, grab your glass, whatever you're sipping on, and pull up a seat, and let's have this conversation, because this is a conversation that really needs to be had with me, myself, and you. I know you wouldn't be watching it. Let's get into the meaning, right? The meaning of defensiveness. The meaning of defensiveness is the quality of being anxious to challenge or avoid criticism, behavior intended to defend or protect. As you learn, being defensive is a result of feeling ashamed, hurt, guilty, attacked, etc. If a person is feeling this way, responding with further criticism is likely to end only in stonewalling or an argument. Defensiveness is a way to protect our ego and our fragile self-esteem. So as I'm reading it, I'm just like, the defensiveness is really, it's a feeling of being uncomfortable with feelings in general, like, and just managing your own feelings, if that makes sense. It's very toxic, and it just eats away at trust with, people that you have, your relationships, your friendships, family. It eats away at the trust, and it also diminishes the communication. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely diminishes the communication. Defense mechanisms are like very unconscious and psychological. It's a psychological process, honestly. This psychological process, it helps an individual like cope with anxiety resulting from like a stressful internal or external environment. Like, you'll find yourself just justifying situations, or like you might feel defensive when you perceive that you're being criticized or blamed, and you might act defensive to avoid the painful emotions that's stirring up. It's a very human and raw reaction when we feel attacked or we react with defensiveness. It's just very destructive, though. It's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling, and it's not a good thing to do. I was watching this video by Terry Cole on YouTube. She's amazing. She had mentioned the Dr. Gottman's, the four horsemen of apocalypse, that theory. And basically it's criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling and contempt. So basically, he had conducted this little study back in the 90s, like 1999 or something like that, probably before that. But he had conducted this little study amongst couples. Basically, he had predicted that divorce would be like 90% accurate based off of the first 3 minutes, like of a conversation between, you know, couples. So he separated these couples, and he had he had the two different teams. So one team was the masters of the relationship, and the other ones were the disasters of the relationship. So when he noticed that couples who started their conflict conversations with criticism or defensiveness, it basically, that just solidified that that would end in divorce, versus the couples that would start off like with gentle like a gentle start, and you know, begin their conversation was just simply expressing their feelings and their needs. Like, those were the couples that can make it work and actually stay together. I was really so intrigued with, you know, with his theory and everything, because I'm like, I never really took the initiative to you know, address that part of me with myself. Like, I always, like I said, I always just thought, well, if I'm being defensive, it's because I'm being attacked, or it's because, you know, just blaming the other people or the other person, whoever's getting the backlash, just blaming them and saying like, well, if I'm like that, or if that comes on, that's because it's triggered by this person, and it's triggered by that, and it's like, you know, just all the excuses in the world. You only getting older, I'm only getting older, but just keep allowing little things or whatever, people or whatever, just trigger me, because like it just does not get me nowhere in life. And like I said, that could be relationships, that could be friendships, that could be even at work. Like, if you get into a position at work, like say manager position at work, and you are like that type of person, or you have that type of defensiveness every time somebody comes and try to say something, how are you really gonna flourish in that management position? Because all your teammates, the people who are under you, that you're managing, they're gonna feel like they can't trust you. They feel like they don't want to talk to you. They feel like they can't say nothing to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna feel uncomfortable, and that's not gonna work, because you need to have that sort of communication and that sort of relationship with the people that you are managing, because like you have to do your job and they have to do theirs. And if they feeling uncomfortable, they're not gonna stay. They might go and quit, and now you down 2-3 people, and you're upset and you're angry, and it's really like, no, because look at the type of person that you are displaying. Look at the type of person that you are in this position. Like, why would you feel like somebody would be okay, you know, with dealing with somebody who's so defensive or so aggressive and so like can't talk to and can't communicate with? I really was just like sitting with myself, and I'm just like, you know, you gotta really like place yourself in an out of body experience, and you just gotta think about it. Like, you know, just imagine not being able to like effectively hear someone, or them not effectively, you know, hear you. That is basically defensiveness. That is all around defensiveness. Being a very defensive person, very difficult for people to have conversations with you. This is really difficult and kind of, you know, touchy for me to put out there about myself, because like I said, I always blindsided myself with that. Oh, well, it's me taking up for myself. Oh, nope, justified. Nope, justified. And really, it's just, you did not want to effectively hear a person, because maybe it's not something nice coming out their mouth, like, you know what I'm saying, or maybe it's not something good, and that's fine. Life is not always going to be rainbows and unicorns. Like, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have tough conversations, you're going to have tough decisions to make, and you cannot be defensive like in those situations, and then get mad when people don't want to be around you, or when somebody feels like I want to say something but I don't, and now they gotta hold back, you know, their feelings, and hold back, you know, talking to you because they like, oh no, if I say something she gonna go like, nobody wants to deal with that. And I feel like this is an overall stamped on a lot of Black women, you know, as well, because everybody's always like, oh, the angry Black woman, the aggressive Black girl, and it's like, but it all stems from, you know, feeling like the Black woman is always under attack, and the Black woman is always, you know, the one that they disrespect and they don't have respect for, and they don't treat like the queens that they are, you know. And then you really start to build this other side of you unconsciously, and then you really fit in that category that they're really, you know, putting out there, stamping on the Black woman. I just feel like a lot of times defensiveness is really triggered from always feeling attacked. Like I said, angry Black woman. Growing up around these types of women would also create that type of woman in you as well. Never really sat back and thought about, you know, all the childhood trauma that I may have faced, or all the behaviors that were displayed in front of me, you know, as I grew up, was the reason behind a lot of the things that I fight with now in my adulthood. Grown up around the same sort of type of woman that's like that, defensive, or always got to protect themselves and stand up for themselves, or, you know what I'm saying, that aggression, and I really took on that energy as well. And now that I'm older, I'm like, that's not cool. I can't effectively, you know, show up in that way, because I'm like, nope, soon as the first thing that's said that I don't, you know, not that I don't like, but as soon as the first thing that is said that may come off as, you know, an attack, or come off as, you know, criticism, tough criticism or whatever, like, start to feel this anxiety and these feelings on the inside. Like, I really need to find a way to have these tough conversations without, you know, overanalyzing and consciously and unconsciously, you know, being defensive, and for all these, you know, things that's bubbling up. But that also goes for whoever it is that you're having a conversation with as well, because sometimes, like I said, it's triggered, and if the person is like, they're not coming to you on, you know, just, we gotta have this conversation, I feel like this, just focusing on themselves, and they're coming to you and they're focusing on all the wrongs with you and pointing at you and fingers, you, yeah, it's gonna get triggered, and it's gonna be a defensive conversation that's gonna happen, and nothing is gonna go heard, and nothing's gonna be, I mean, a whole lot is gonna be said, but a lot of things ain't gonna be heard. Like, I hear you, but I'm not listening. It's like my brain and my body just goes into this like trigger mode, and then it goes from just feeling anxious or anxiety or triggered to just explosive, and from there it's just hard. It's really hard to calm a person down once they get there. Like, it's really hard to calm a person down once they get there. And this is not something that I'm proud of. This is not something I want to continue to do. Like I said, I grew up around a lot of, people who have been like this. I grew up around this for so long and just, made excuses for it. At a point in time, I didn't quite know what to call it. Like I thought this I thought this was just me. You get what I'm saying? I thought this was just me, and when I'm upset, I'm upset. When I'm angry, I'm angry. And that's how I thought it was. I'm getting older and I'm just becoming, it's a good thing because I'm becoming more annoyed with this feeling of defensiveness. I'm becoming more annoyed with the way I'm handling conversations or the way I'm handling communication, period. Like, I'm just becoming annoyed and disgusted with it. So it's like, what next? You have to really, get to the root of what the issue is, where it stems from, what triggers you, sit in with yourself and not so focused on the other person or the other people and what they, because what they said, and no, because it's them, and no, because no, like, we have to learn how to handle all types of conversations, any types of conversations. And like I said, all conversations is not just gonna be rainbows and unicorns. Like, you gotta know how to handle those tough conversations and handle, criticism and just somebody just, telling you something that maybe you just did wrong. That's fine. We are human, and I feel like that also plays into the whole perfection thing too. Once again, the perfection thing too, because when you feel like, you can't do nothing wrong or you're not doing nothing wrong, and when you're being told that you're actually not doing something right and you're doing something wrong, you get what I'm saying? That's gonna trigger you because you think you're doing, everything good and perfect, and no, because no. As I am becoming older, I just feel like certain things I just have to just get out of because it's just not serving me in no way possible. It's not serving my life in a good way. And I feel like, honestly, this is a start to like purging season for me. As I grow closer to God and figure out my relationship with God and getting to know Him and understand Him, I feel like all the old parts of me that does not serve me have to go. Like, I have to purge it. I have to get it out. And I have to do the work. I can't just keep making up excuses. You can't always just use the other person. If they want to come with a conversation and they are, coming to you aggressive or acting a fool or, starting the conversation off with straight, because whatever, like, you have the right to just walk away. Yeah, you have every right to take a step back and just be like, listen, this conversation has not started off good, and I feel like it's not gonna end good. So maybe we could, take a step back and then we could touch on it in like maybe an hour or two, or 2-3 minutes. Like, just take a break. If you don't take a break, everything from that first part that triggered you, everything from on is gonna trigger you, and you're gonna be defensive, and you're gonna be yelling, and you're gonna be screaming, and it's just gonna be an argument. It's just gonna be a fight, and then it's gonna turn into a fight to be heard by both parties, or a fight to just say what you have to say. And I say to myself, like, how can a person consciously, control something that's become an unconscious bad habit. Like how can you know when to catch yourself, before you fall? How do you fight this learned generational behavior? I've seen my mom and all the women in my life be this way. I'm not gonna lie, I done seen them all be this way, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was normal, when really it's not normal. It's just we're lacking communication skills. No one wants to admit they're lacking anything, of course. Especially a strong black woman. A strong black woman don't want to admit that, she's lacking anything. It seriously digs away at relationships we have with people and causes bridges between people, and also causes more unhealed trauma that just keeps adding to the next trauma. I was watching an interview and they was talking to this woman about why she should care, about sleeping around with married men. Like why she should care, about what she's doing, basically her behavior. She just got so crazy, so wild, because they kept just telling her like, no, we're not gonna agree with you. That's just not cute and not okay and disgusting. Like it's not. And she just went off. And when I say off, I mean off. Got up, screaming, yelling, pointing fingers. And I'm like, wow, I got secondhand embarrassment from that. I'm not gonna lie, I got secondhand embarrassment from that. And I'm like, wow, I saw myself. I'm like, ooh. If I could get secondhand embarrassment from somebody else that's doing this behavior, like, where's the embarrassment for myself, when I'm doing that type of behavior? And I was just like, it's not about trying to like change the person's opinion, about a certain situation or whatever the conversation may be about. It's not about changing the person's opinion, for me. It's just about, trying to get the other person to just understand where I'm coming from. Like just over explaining myself and why I did what I did, or why I do what I do, or whatever the case may be. Like the fight is wanting my point to be validated and wanting to feel like, yes, I understand you, I hear you, but in reality it's excuses and a way to just justify this aggressive defensive behavior. Like you could still communicate effectively, your views and your opinions, and the person and if the person effectively hear you, without all the having to yell and scream and cuss or degrade each other and say hurtful things to get under the person's skin because you're mad and you're upset or whatever the case may be. It's not okay. Like you can actually sit there, everybody have their own opinions about something, you put your point of view out, they put their point of view out, we could agree to disagree and move forward. I got secondhand embarrassment for that. And yes, she was a black woman, so that made it even more worse, because she actually, all the things that people say about black women, like she was actually displaying in front of, on an interview. Like that was the crazy thing, on an interview, and in front of all these millions and millions of people that watch these videos. They're gonna see that, and it's like she just did not care. She did not care. But I was like, wow, that was like a reality slap. Like that was really like, wow, like aggression is real. And as they were talking about it or whatever, it started to like come out why she do what she do. And I mean, I was hearing her points, even though she was yelling and screaming. I was kind of hearing her, And I kind of noticed that it's because, you know, she's been hurt and people done it to her, or like her past relationships, people done cheated on her and treat her like that. The other woman didn't care, so why should she care about the other woman? You know, just generational follow, generational curses being created, and patterns being created and behaviors being created. Just more, you know, well, this person did it, then I could do it, and then, you know, the next person will do it, and then you just have this crazy behavior just keep following, just keep trickling down to the next generation and the next people and the next person. Like, instead of just really sitting and just taking that accountability for you, not for everybody else, but that accountability for you and your behavior, your reaction, and just you, period. Every action doesn't deserve a reaction. And it's really real though. It's really real. It really doesn't, because sometimes certain conversations just don't even be needing the amount of energy you give when you're being defensive. It don't even be needing that. It just be needing probably like an ounce of just clarification and then move forward. Being a defensive person, it goes from needing a little tiny bit of clarification to now it's a bigger issue, a bigger problem, because instead of just nipping in the butt right there, you just boom, exploded, and now you done boom, dragged it out, and now it's just a bigger situation than what it is. And now either, you know, now you're starting to argue about other things that don't even have anything to do with the conversation at the moment, because now it's just starting to bring up all types of, you know, emotions and arguments and feelings towards other things. And, you know, everybody's just being explosive, and it's just not cool. I just feel like you just really have to like sit with yourself and try to understand, you know, what it really is that's causing you to be so triggered by certain conversations or certain people. Maybe it could be how a conversation starts, or, you know, choice of words that just, you know, send you over the edge. But you have to release the feeling to defend and protect yourself. Like, you have to release yourself from that. At the end of the day, it's like, what really doesn't need to be defended or protected? Every conversation doesn't have to be viewed as a threat or a fight, or just it could just be a simple conversation, or, you know, a difficult conversation. It's hard to remain calm and vulnerable and, you know, with someone that's defensive or in a defensive situation. It's hard to be vulnerable, open, and feel like, okay, I could be calm and calm down. I just feel like I have to like draw back and focus on myself, you know, and how I can communicate my parts, and how I can listen and understand effectively, and, you know, to the other person. It should be mutual. It should be a mutual respect amongst both parties, to take breaks, you know, when needed, and to retouch on things once, you know, once everyone's cooled down. And I don't mean, you know, sit there and and argue and everyone gets frustrated and just walk away and give each other, you know, give each other space, and just or give the other person silent treatment in the moment, or whatever the case may be. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, really sit there, and whoever it is, it doesn't matter if you both agree or if one person just mentions it, and say, listen, this conversation is getting beyond me, or beyond this, or whatever. This conversation is just getting out of hand. You know, let's just take a step back and regroup. And regroup after this in a little bit, you know, when everybody feel like they're calm down and collective. And yeah, and, you know, don't just go running back in there, okay, it's been 1 minute, because let's continue. No, like, no, it has to be a mutual respect, you know, amongst whoever it is that you're having this difficult conversation with, or you having this, you know, argument with. It has to be like, okay, you calm now, okay, I'm calm now. let's continue, or let's start over and let's have this conversation and get it out. Because yelling and screaming is not gonna get nothing done, nothing out. Everybody is just gonna be left misunderstood and angry, and it's gonna build up more anger, more aggression, more problems, more communication issues. Like, it's not gonna work. Like I said, it's purging season. Okay, it's purging season, and it's time to purge even the most difficult parts of ourselves. Honestly, it's time to purge the most difficult parts of ourselves that we thought was just us. You know what I'm saying? We thought it was, oh no, this is my character, because it's really not. And it's not, if it's not serving you in no way good possible, then you don't need to have it. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to let go, let God, give it to God. Because if it's making life difficult for you, and relationships and friendships and things like that difficult for you, you're just gonna be alone and by yourself. Where I'm just purging the most difficult parts of myself and removing me and the woman that I know I can be and I know that I am, from the woman that I thought was okay, and the woman that was created from trauma and past experiences and survival of the fittest. I don't want her anymore. I do not want survival Rosie anymore. Okay, I don't want her. She is not soft, and she is not making anything good for my life. Honestly, she is not. So I want to release those things and really start to step into the place I'm trying to go. It's difficult because you really have to unlearn and unteach yourself these bad behaviors, or these behaviors that just no longer serves you, that just making it hard in life. Like, you have to really just sit with yourself and say, okay, it's easy said than done. It's easy said than done to just say, oh, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, it does not happen overnight, but you have to want it as bad as you need it. Okay, like, you gotta take it like, listen, this is life or death. This is life or death. Take it serious, because if you keep with the behaviors and keep with the bad habits and whatever it is that you want for your future will not happen. It will not happen. Everything will continue to just be difficult and a problem and an issue. You get what I'm saying? You will never have a real healthy relationship with yourself, with God, with a partner, with friends, with family. Like, you will never really have that healthy relationship that you may picture manifest in your mind if you're gonna still hold on to bad behaviors. And everybody is so quick to be like, oh well, this person acts like that, I'll be quick to cut them off. Yeah, but you can't be quick to cut yourself off. Like, how are you gonna cut yourself off from yourself? Like, you get what I'm saying? But this is definitely purging season. This is purging season for me. Purging season for me, okay? Because for me, that just me, like, trials and tribulations, giving myself grace. You get what I'm saying? Giving myself some grace, and for me to just continue this walk with God, because He has been revealing some things to me about me, and I'm like, I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to hear it. I said, no, not me. And He like, yes, you. Learning to heal. That's what this channel is for, right? Learning to heal myself, like, from my past traumas and my past, mistakes, and this trauma behavior that I have going on that I no longer want, because it's not serving me in no way. And I keep saying that because it's really not serving me in no way possible. I am really enjoying my walk with God, honestly. I'm sorry if you may be on a different, spiritual plane than I am, or a spiritual journey than I am, but I'm personally gonna always talk about God because he really pulled me through some difficult stuff in life. And he, even when I was running away from trying to have a relationship with him, and I didn't want that relationship, and I was just living by my flesh and doing what I wanted to do, he still was there holding my hand, even if I didn't want it, even if I was not trying to grab his hand back. He was still holding my hand. And it's just like, this walk is really getting me out of this survival mindset and mode. And he's like really revealing and like displaying my traumas to me and saying, this behavior is from this, or I'm really starting to sit back and think about past things, and like, oh, okay, that's probably why. And it no longer has to be that. This walk with God for me just means, I no longer want to continue being this person I created, that I made throughout my past mistakes and behavior and trauma. The survival mindset, it's just like the path I want to be on, the path that God created for me. I want to become the person that God would know when he see me, and not I stand before him and he's like, who are you? I don't know you. I don't want that. I want to stand before him and he know exactly who I am. And I don't want to meet God in any other way but the way he created me, honestly. And I'm just stripping myself. I'm just stripping myself bare for any outside beliefs that is not of God. Okay, I'm stripping myself bare. Like I said, I'm sorry if you're on a different spiritual path, and this and this may be a little off for you, but for me, it's just my confession for myself. It's just my confession, and I'm not trying to push anyone to feel like they have to be where I'm at, or be on the same journey as me. I'm just speaking my mind. I'm just confessing my own journey to the world. I'm hoping to revisit this video myself and actually like be free of this aggression and masculine energy I carry around, and be in my soft, vulnerable womanhood era, and be like, yes, look, you did it, girl. Clap for yourself, be happy for yourself, like, whew, we did this. But before it ends, I wanted to read these two cards. One said, I will make peace with chaos. And the other one says, mindfulness adds depth and wonder to my days. If these cards ain't speaking to me, then I don't know who is, okay? But especially this one, I would make peace with chaos. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to make peace with all those chaotic parts of me so that I can move forward and become the woman that I know I'm supposed to be, okay? But until next time, guys, I see you in my next video. It was nice talking to you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I would like to hear your view on things, or Maybe you may feel like, you know, you may feel like the same way, or maybe you dealing with somebody who's the same way, or whatever. I would like to hear y'all comments and y'all concerns and, you know, y'all point of views. But until next time, see you guys.